Akom, is the only private company representative of this workshop. Please come over. We have also Dr. Schillinger, our DDG Bioscience from International Livestock Research Institute from Kenya. And unfortunately, I had another phone call just before that. Our colleague from the government level, Dr. Tong Sun Ching, he is Deputy Director General of Department of Livestock Production and the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Another urgent meeting needs him, and he cannot come to show his policy perspective. So, but we are very happy to have 5 distinguished members of this workshop. And before starting, I think that we still need something fun to do. Then, of course, if the panelists can do it as well. So we try to introduce a system to get some ideas. And I hope that this idea will not influence actually the ideas of our panelists. And to do that, I ask you before that you get the computer or the phone connected, please. And to test, that is not essential question, but I want to test if it works first. Okay, here you go to the, can you click on information? No, information on the right hand side. Okay. So you get your phone ready and you go to the website menti.com. It's not very clear. I hope that you can read it. Okay? And a window should pop up and you just enter, please, the code 214880. The code is 214880. So 214880. Are you connected? Everyone? Yes. Excellent. Okay. So sorry, Vannaphone. 214880. Okay, very good. Okay, suppose that everyone is connected now. Could you please respond to the question you see on the screen? So you can, okay. So here, the system allows you to respond real time, and you can see the response here. For example, 31 people have responded so far to that question. Go ahead so that I can know how many people in the room. Go. Or from what continent are you from? That's a very easy question.
Okay.
You see, continue because our list shows that we are almost 100 or something, and now I see 42. Oh, it's also because our 2 colleagues, Chien and Jenny, you don't have some mobile phones, that's why. Okay, but I know you are from Australia Pacific, and Chien is from Hanoi, so we are from Vietnam, Asia. Okay, everybody have respond? At least you have the phone. Okay, so I will expect 47 response. Okay, so these are systems. Okay, thank you very much. Now, we have a more serious question. Oh, 48. You are late. 49. Okay, next slide, please, G. Okay, so now I have 2 short questions for you. From the discussion of 6 sessions and all this, presentation, etc., I would like to ask you, and we are here to discuss about research into smallholder pig production, health and pork safety. What is the biggest challenge from the perspective, bee research, developer, farmer, association, private sectors, manager, etc.? What is the biggest challenge from the perspective to achieve the sustainable, safe pork value chain? Only one most important challenge. So you are allowed only to put 1 goat or 2 goat in this box that you are having. Okay, so I see. So you just feel free to put whatever you want. I see the number. It's a very interesting response. The most important is 223484. Don't look at the screen if you have not responded, so that you are not influenced by others. Okay. Okay, continue. 16, 18, 21. It should be 49 or 50, I think. Okay, more. 10 more, 13 more, I think. Okay, have you done? It's okay? Okay, so here from this, continue. So yeah, I would see that here I got some ideas from the pool. Biosecurity come to the top. Policy, diseases, communication uptake. AMR, ICIAR, collaboration, partnership. And so on. Public awareness, market,
bigger what is
appropriate intervention, climate change. Okay? Okay. Well, so we reached a bigger number, 53 now. Thank you very much. Okay, so you see, so this is from the perspective, but I think that disease, biosecurity, policy, collaboration appears, OEM appears important things. Okay. To be honest, I don't know why 2, 2, 3, 2, and 4 is important response here. So maybe, it's I don't know. Okay. Next slide, please. And this is the last question for you. Suppose that you selected one of these more challenges. Always from the perspective, what is the best way to address this challenge? So I see that you go very fast now, because it's already the last question. The third is the last question. Please continue. I might need 1 or 2 microphones for our panelists. Okay, please go ahead. The last second, 48. So from here, I can see education, communication, research, policy, biosecurity come up again. Awareness is important as the best way to address the challenge to achieve safe and sustainable pork value chains. 55. Okay, thank you very much. So thank you very much for the participation. It's very fast and interesting. Okay, thank you. Now I would like to sit and ask a few questions to our panelists. I can tell you that we have discussed a bit before on email, so on the direction where we discussed today. But maybe we can have also new questions to seek for the reflection, but also the question and remark from the audience if we have enough time. So we have very interesting panelists composition today, except for the policy making people who could not come. So Dieter, you are leading the bioscience of ILRI. So Chien, you are professor. Jenny, you are from academic representative together with Vannaphone. How can I qualify you, Dr. Eduardo?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's wrong from my side that I said that we don't have the government people here. So very good. So the team is complete. And the first question to you, I would repeat. Actually, it's 2 questions we asked everyone to respond before. But now, the advantage is, in fact, you have a little bit more time to elaborate. So perspective about what is the most challenge from the perspective to really achieve the sustainable, safe, and good smallholder pig production. And keep in mind that our workshop here is to talk about pig production in the smallholder system. That's why, in the audience, you don't really have people out Tran from CP or Dabago, all these big players, a large farm in Vietnam to attend. It's really the focus for smallholder because we think that smallholders is still quite important for many countries where come from our participants here. So maybe start with you, Dieter, from a more international research perspective as you represent in this meeting.
Yeah, thank you. I just, during the 2 days, I was always thinking, when we talk about value chain, are we really talking about value chain? I think very often we were talking about supply chain, not value chain. Value chain means all the players within this chain actually have an increased value by doing that. So we were talking very often only about supply chain. What is the next delivery stage? And we had an interesting discussion on sustainability, and my impression is very much when this value chain is not really working, if not everybody has value, then there is no sustainability. So this will stop. And I think that's also another term. I think we use sustainability very differently, everybody from us. It's actually, it's meeting the needs of the present, but not challenging or not risking the need of the future generation. So really this is a very long-term perspective. It's not just starting with the farm and the fork. It goes much farther. So I think we should, a new thinking is, linking the value chain with the circular economy. So we have also a sustainable and circular value chain. I think that will much clearer show what we want to do. The challenge I see, the main challenge I see in this value chain is that the smallholder may lose over the next years if it doesn't get the support it should get. And we see it, as I mentioned at the very beginning, the China very clearly today were information that they stopped backyard farming, backyard pig holding. It includes also smallholder farming. So there are risks for the smallholder farming, the smallholder pig value chain. I think that's something we should have in our mind and try everything to help. This includes policy, it includes all the safe aspects we have. And I think it's very difficult for me to say that one thing which is most important. It's really a complex group of reasons.
Okay, thank you, Dieter. So you have emphasized very much about value chain and also probably is the role of, or the position of smallholders in future. And you took the same example of China. I looked at the audience, our colleague Carl Rich, who run a VPM, Vietnam Pig Model, because when we, actually this model conducted by Vietnamese partner with ILRI to predict the future of the small pig production systems. And when we went to meeting, we introduced this and people, some people didn't really believe in that. Because it says the trend is really the government want to go quickly to the large scale, and all these smallholder will disappear slowly. And very interesting to observe for the last 10 or 15 years, the smallholder artists there, and for some moment of our pathway, smallholder become sometimes important, even more important for that. But I think that guy is not around, so we move to the next panelist. So Chien, you are the only one from private sectors. But the interesting from Chien background is I know him because we work together. So he used to be a researcher like many of us in this room. So switching from a research, wearing the hat of researcher into private sectors, and you work more on the food safety and all these things. And now you started doing vegetable, and now we are in livestock and pigs and pork, etc. So what is your take about the challenge of this question?
For me, as a private sector, the most challenge to the sector is enforcing the market in the consumer. Because now the consumers' awareness, general awareness of the pork is fresh. The first criteria for them to buy pork is fresh. So I think explain for what you just said about why the small pig producers still remain there. For the last 10 years, the large commercial production already developed a lot, but small stay there. And I think we'll stay there for long because of this fresh pig, fresh pork market. And going with this, we see that the open market. The open market is still 90%. Although that for the last 5 years, a lot of supermarkets growing quickly. Vinmart, Backwasite, Go Food, 3 or 4 times for the last 4 or 5 years. Let's do that. So I think consumers' awareness of pork safety is the most challenge, the main factor that we as a private sector or even the government or even the NGO, I think we should focus on. If we can do this, then all the private sector, all the big producers, they have to follow. Because today the competition is the strongest. That make all the private sector or the big producers to die or to live, depending on the market.
Okay, so market. No, keep the microphone. You said that the fresh pork is imported in Vietnam and people still like it and it's going to last for long. What is your prediction? For how many years is still the habit of having fresh pork like Vietnamese bought from the open market still exists?
I think if we say exist, I think exist for 100 years, more than 100 years, but we gradually reduce it. But if we leave it naturally, it will be slowly. But if we can do something on that, make it quicker. Otherwise, it will be very slow. You can assume the next 10 or 20 years, depending on based on the last 10 years. The last 10 years, thousands of supermarkets developed, but open market is still there, still the biggest, the strongest market, still 90%.
Yeah, so 90% is very impressive number. For non-Vietnamese information, you see that some of the big city like Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, we have supermarket, but many other provinces, our 62 or 63 provinces, we don't really have this extent of number of supermarket. Okay, thank you, Chien. We will come back to you for some other questions, but now please, Jenny, I think that you propose you take the microphone. It looks like, can you hear Chien well?
Thank you very much. So when Hung provided us with this question, I was in a little bit of a dilemma because I work in 2 different contexts. So one is the context of, say, Vietnam, where you have a large proportion still smallholder, but you have a very well-established value chain. And then my other context is working, say, in Timor-Leste, where it's still predominantly smallholder vastly, but it's at a subsistence level, and there is no well-established pork value chain at all. There's a live pig value chain. So if I think about sustainability, I think there are 2 points. One point to think about that, and that's on farm. And if I think about safety, safe food, I think about more the slaughtering process. So the on farm, across both those systems, the well-established system in Vietnam and the sustained, still subsistence system in somewhere like Timor-Leste, the major challenge, I think, is still pig feed. Now, you might say, well, we've known that forever and a day, but that is the major cost to the farmer. If they have good food, then they will be healthy, which overcomes some of our problems to do with disease. And we still, as we saw on our first day here, there are still a lot of challenges for us to provide cost-effective feed sources for pigs, utilising readily available products that are close to our smallholders? And how do we have feed rations that can, formulate and really underpin the farmer's production system? So that may seem basic, but I think it's fundamental if we're going to support smallholders to be profitable, sustainable, long-term, when they're in a market with much more competition and, facing also health risks too. In terms of the slaughterhouse, I think we need a slogan of start clean and keep clean. And if we can help our slaughterhouse and retailers to do that, to start clean at the slaughtering and then keep the product clean through the chain, then they will be sustainable and the product will be safe to the consumer as well.
Okay, thank you. So you compare the pig production system from Vietnam, where you have 30 million pigs and I don't know how many demolested, and I remember from yesterday that one pig might cost even several $1,000 or something. So it was so interesting to see how expensive pigs cost in demolested, but the system are so different. But I can tell you the pig as a feed issue for pig production, so in Vietnam is also as an issue, also we import a lot from that. So okay, thank you, Jenny, for the point. Okay, so you see, I hear about value chain from Jenny also when he talked about feed, farmers, slaughterhouse, market, etc. It's come back to the value chain. It means that you didn't say one more challenges, but maybe several challenges at the same time. So now moving to Laos, Vannaphone. As a lecturer from National University of Laos, Faculty of Agriculture, I know that you don't have the Faculty of Animal Science and Vet Medicine yet, but you are developing this curriculum and education system in Laos. So what is the most challenges of small pig production system in Laos?
Yes, thank you. Okay, for my idea, now when we're talking about the pig value chain, or we're talking about sustainable and safe pork, in the future, I would like to mention for two levels. First, I think when we're talking about the regional level, so we are different context in each country, because like we compare another country like Thailand, Vietnam, compared to Laos, Cambodia, and Timor-Leste, like she mentioned, and it's totally different. But how can we save pork? How can we save the pig together? So I think we should. I understand, yes, this is an economic competition. I understand that one, but we should transparency to share the information together, and okay, we work together. I think this is very important. And the second level, okay, talking in the country. So we have like a Laos, we are like a small country. When we're talking about the facility, production, like I said this morning, because we didn't have like a big farm, like a CP, beta go, like a animal industry, we have really there. So only small farm, a small scale, like a backyard farm. If we think talking about the disease control, I think it's quite easy than other countries that they have a big farm. Okay, when we have like the disease outbreak, so we can control easily. Like okay, 10 up to 20 for the backyard farm, we kill and we do like biosecurity and we do like sanitation. I think hygiene is okay. But the important thing, I think, for the staff, for the government staff or any level or up to the worker or veterinary worker up to farmer, we should give them the knowledge and perception. I think it's very important, because this morning I showed sometimes they didn't have any knowledge, or they have less knowledge or perception on those diseases, and they didn't thinking about the important from the animal disease when it's outbreak or when it happened, what the economic loss, something like that. I think is very important. If we push them, the knowledge of perception on this, and we make them a good knowledge, is very important. This is maybe my point of view from university. I think I need the people, the farmer, the government staff to have like the power to take care of them.
Okay, thank you, Vannaphone. Obviously, you have a university, so capacity building for different stakeholders are important, but also related to food safety issue, which shows this morning the perception of eating uncooked pork in some of the provinces, so important to address. Okay, let's hear now from our colleague from the Philippines.
Yes, good afternoon. From my point of view, from my own point of view, and from the other Philippine perspective, I think the vulnerability of our backyard raisers to diseases and epidemics would be one of the biggest challenges in to have a sustainable, safe, and pork value chain. Because as you see, as per our presentation, you could see that most of our backyard raisers in the Philippines do not have or have a little biosecurity or not at all. They are situated sometimes near each other, and anyone could visit their farms actually. Without even permission from the owner, sometimes they could visit the farm. So that's one of the biggest challenges as far as the Philippines is concerned, is on the biosecurity of these backyard farms and their vulnerability to animal diseases and epidemics. And to my other concerns would be the high cost of inputs, especially pigs, because although we have presented that some of these backyard farms would be feeding leftovers and still feeding, but most of them are now feeding their pigs with commercial feeds. And it's if you feed them purely with commercial feeds, it's a high cost. It's a high cost for them, and their profits will be reduced drastically. So I think on the Philippine part, I think vulnerability to animal diseases is the number one concern as far as backyard raisers are concerned.
Okay, thank you very much. So biosecurity, epidemics, disease are key for the Philippine context. Okay, thank you for the first round. This guy have a round of statement from different panelists. I took from you, for the end is very much value chain context, market for private sectors, feed, and also back to value chains, education, capacity building, and disease management and prevention from the first round. Vannaphone? Yes.
So sorry. Yes. Okay. Capacity building is very important, and also like a DDG said, when we talking about the value chain, there are many stakeholders involved, and also maybe in Laos context. Okay, I think it's one challenge is like how to the gap from the legislation and the policy and the practitioner like a farmer. I think it's very important. It can be
okay. So policy translation, connecting policy and practice. Okay. So I look at the time. We are perfectly okay still. So I would like to start the second round. So you have identified the challenges from the perspective, and of course you know the challenge. So we know we have to do something to achieve this purpose, to have this safe, sustainable pork production at the smallholder level. I would like to come back, maybe not directly to the end. We change a little bit the order. So Jenny, it's not because you are the only woman of this panel. So you see that we don't manage very well to have the gender balance. But we would like to start the second round with you. So what do you do? What do you do to address this challenge from the perspective? You didn't really talk only from a professor perspective from Sydney, but yeah, so perspective, all the perspective with the stakeholders with whom you work.
So if we focus on the slaughterhouse and retailer aspects and think about safety and having clean product and maintaining it as clean, then public-private partnerships are very important here. So the government has a role in terms of setting policy and standards, but then the partners need to work out how to develop systems to adhere to those that are cost effective. So it's quite a challenge if we think about the Vietnamese context, and that's one of the things that Safe Pork is looking to address, is how do we make this process of having a clean product, the slaughterhouse, and then maintaining it as clean up to the consumer purchasing it and taking it home. And we need to look for where there is cost benefit for each of the players involved as well. But it certainly requires government and private working together in order to achieve that in a way that will be cost effective and lead to benefit for the value chain players, and then satisfaction for the customer. So I think that's our challenge, that they are the points at which we need to address it and we need to work at it together.
Okay, thank you very much. You've emphasized very much on the aspect of safety, pork safety. So you talk, this is very specific for our safe pork project, but of course also we need to put it in a more broader production systems. But I agree with you that, the point on private-public partnership is also key in existing. Thank you very much, Chien. What do you do more, or what do you have to do to really achieve, or, to overcome the challenge you just mentioned?
For me, as I said, the biggest challenge for the consumers is awareness. So for my part, we think that the best we can do is about marketing and promotion. So it's not that we do by our own, but also we have to work with the government, with the project, to promote the message of how to use the pork and healthy for consumers.
Okay, so final the beneficiary or the consumer is really the goal that you want to achieve by involving different people and working for the government to achieve that. Okay.
Yes, so I think that is also for what all the audience already just voted. We put it in a line. That is education. That's unusual. Education, biggest. Okay.
So, can you shape a little bit so perspective, because you used to be in private sector for long, and you move now to a more research for development institution. And so I see the profile, past experience like Chien at the moment, but also you can bring an international research perspective to address the challenges. Please.
Yeah, as I said before, for me the smallholder value chain is under pressure. There's a risk. The risk comes from private sector like ILRI, because we have seen this enormous increase in demand for pork. So it's very attractive for bigger companies in Europe. And I'm involved in one company that want to start in Uganda, a big slaughterhouse and producing their own pigs. They tell us it's good for the smallholders as well because they have a good slaughterhouse and meeting your criterion. But that's a risk, which is there. The other risk is, by just importing to this country these modern technologies of pork production as we have it in the developed world. But I think the real chance to meet these demands is the smallholder. But only if the smallholder is transformed in somebody who has a sustainable production, or as I always like, better to say a sustainable optimation and not sustainable intensification, which is for many people a very, very negative word. So we must do everything to help them on this transforming process, which means there's a lot of smallholders will exit this smallholder production because others will produce more. This is the market situation we had in Europe after the Second World War. There were only smallholder. Now there are very few left, but the very few have a niche. And this niche, and I was very surprised to hear about these very different niche markets, the segmentation which is here in Vietnam, and the branding which is there already. So that's a very good development. So I think that's something we have really to make them able to brand their product. This includes safety, this includes some other criteria which the consumer wants. And I think that's a little missing what the consumer wants is really reaching the producers and the value chain that they produce this. The main thing I missed on many of the aspects today is the incentive. We talked a lot about solutions, how we can do this. We talked a little bit about the economies of the solutions, but not too much, and that's the question of the sustainability. And the other thing is we can only change the behavior, and that's again the same we had in developed markets. Agricultural people are very conservative people. To change the behavior, particularly if you take AMR, to change the behavior, you have to give them incentives. And I think that's what we have to do. We have to look and do research. What are the right incentives to change the value chain of smallholder farmers into a more productive and consumer-oriented value chain?
Okay, thank you very much. So a lot of risk, but also kind of opportunity to help them to address this risk. So I come back to this side. So our colleague from the Philippines. So what are the measures, solutions, or wish to really address this question?
As far as the measures are concerned, I think number one measure would be to capacitate the smallholder farmers through trainings and capacity building. And then to convert these smallholder farmers into a big association or a cooperative, because in that way they will have a strong voice negotiating for not only for prices but for policies in the government. Because if only individual smallholder farmer would go to the government and then saying this is my problem, this is our problem, it's different when you are united and you have your officers looking after you and voicing out your concern to the government. So I think number one intervention would be forming these smallholder farmers into an association, maybe by district or maybe by geographical location, so that they will have a strong voice bringing out their problems to the government.
Okay, so meaning alliance, association, cooperative to have a stronger voice to support them.
Come on to me. Yes. Okay, nowadays, okay, we were working together for animal health, okay, based on the OIE recommendation or regulation. Okay, I understand for Laos context now, if we try to develop, make it sustainable, I think, okay, as we are aware, when we're talking about pig value chain, there are many stakeholders involved in this chain. So, if we need to develop, we should involve many disciplines working together. We need the stakeholders who are involved in each point working together. I think if we understand the situation or the problem happen in each point, okay, we look and we see the same issue. After that, we can solve or we can make the pig value chain development in the future. I need the transdisciplinary working together, like a transdisciplinary approach.
Okay, transdisciplinarity is the key word from Vannaphone. That's why he is the One Health champions in Laos for that approach. Okay, thank you very much for the reflection and the ideas, and that is actually what we agree to discuss. Now, let's start a little bit on the more challenging side, because when we come here, you see that is we didn't plan a big research symposium at regional level, and finally we do it at international level because we have Africa and so Europe and North America here. And we didn't expect the African swine fever outbreak in Vietnam when we are having here. So you see, now in Vietnamese system, we mobilize the whole political system to combat, to deal with ASF. So this is the highest level of speaking and activity we have. And at the same time, it's timely because we talked about food safety and we had some scandals about tapeworm in Vietnam recently, and every day media talked about it. There's no wrong or right advice or opinion here, but you are from different countries, except from Chien, panelists, the only one from Vietnam. When we talked about ASF, and now it's spreading very, very quickly, and I know that Laos and Cambodia, you are warriors. Okay, any in the panel, panelist members can have some reflection or some advice or some suggestion how to cope with that even I know perfectly that you may not know exactly the local context. But I can tell you that it creates a lot of crisis and concern, worries in society from different levels when we are seeing ASF, and we feel very sorry for our smallholder farmers producing pigs at the moment because they have to go through many challenges since several recent years. So any ideas, any suggestions from international experiences for Vietnamese people, maybe very soon for Laos, Cambodian, I don't hope for you. But it looks like it's something that we need to prepare for. And a volunteer, there's no right or wrong advice, suggestion. You can say anything you want.
Yes, for my idea, okay, it's like a serious outbreak in Vietnam that we understand, we know each other. Just when the outbreak happened like this, I'm thinking about the farmer who produce the pigs. Yes, they are so sad, something like that, when they heard like that. I think if we need to control and if we need to stop the disease outbreak, maybe compensation, I think, is very important. Because if we can compensate them at the accept. I think the illegal illegal movement or something will not happen. I think we can control the disease outbreak soon. This is my personal idea.
Okay, thank you very much. Compensation scheme is key. Maybe Dieter, we would like to hear from you.
Yeah, we have in Europe African swine fever since almost 10 years now. So the interesting thing is that it only works to control it with compensation, as long as we talk about the infection of domestic pig farms. But the main problem are the wild boars in Europe, and you will not be compensated. Interesting, in example, Belgium, which is just before Christmas an outbreak, and an outbreak only in wild boars. Now they have 700 positive wild boars, but the export of the domestic pigs is reduced by 50%. It's an enormous economic impact it has. There was never one domestic pig infected, but just only because the country. And Denmark is building a wall to Germany, like Trump in USA and Mexico. It's not really a wall, it's a fence, because they want to make sure that the wild boars from Germany, which have contact from Poland, where you have this, are going into the next country. So it's compensation, because it's the only thing what you can do currently, culling the animals. But it will be only happen if you have compensation. And important is the veterinarians, because the veterinarians are the ones first to say, because if you're an owner of pigs, you say, hopefully it's not, you wait and you wait. If the vet comes, he looks at this and says, this is definitely African swine fever, we close this and it's, everything is calm. The other thing is the research, as we in ILRI as well do. And always is this discussion when I go to the European Union or somewhere, when is the new vaccine there? I believe there is no African swine fever there in the next 10 years. The only thing what is coming up is better diagnostic systems, and we have yesterday I said about the good system, and then we had your colleague from Vietnam who was saying this rapid test here was bad. This is catastrophic to have a rapid test which have false positive and false negative, which is catastrophic. Both things are very catastrophic. So we wait for a good research result, but we have to live with the only methods of controls we have currently, which is biosecurity, culling, and having a good diagnostic in place.
Didier, keep the microphone, because we talk about the vaccines, and it might be interesting because our colleague yesterday mentioned vaccine development as well. And of course, ILRI has been working on vaccines many years. I don't know if this is specific on ASF. And I heard also that China, they are very aggressively working on the vaccine. And some rumor saying that it's not, we don't have to wait for 10 years. Maybe next year or in 6 months, China might release the first ever ASF vaccine. Do you believe in that?
No, I tell you. The other thing, the good thing is they can't test the vaccine there, so we need to test it in ILRI in Kenya, because swine fever is epidemic there. So you get an endemic disease, so you can use it there. So I don't believe. We are very much involved with the Chinese. We are getting more involved in future, in developing of vaccines. We have also a very interesting research area, which is the genetic of the animals. You know, the bush pigs in Africa are resistant. So what is the genetic background for this? Maybe we can use that for domestic pigs in future, but even that is the very beginning of research. So I would be happy if they come with a good vaccine, but you know, if I see how long really big research organizations are working on that, it's very unlikely, I would say.
Okay, thank you, Gonzalez. I don't want to turn this panel into an African swine fever discussion, but I still want to hear some short feedback if any of you want to give some advice or suggestion or reflection on how to better control or prevent ASF in Southeast Asia or in the country where we are working, we are operating.
So I would just like
Jenny first, and we come back to you. Be brief because we want to leave some time for our audience to ask you a question as well.
So to support our smallholder farmers within the face of this outbreak, I think in addition to compensation comes education, and we can all be part of that. So I think it's education, one, for the consumer, because we cannot let our market be lost, or our smallholders won't survive. They have no market. So consumer education is very important. And then coming back to the people that are working to protect the smallholders, you've mentioned the veterinarians. So I think within the Southeast Asian context, the education of maybe the para-veterinary workforce, so our village level animal health workers, that those people really need to understand what this disease is and the actions that need to be taken to help prevent its spread.
Okay, thank you, Jenny.
Well, in the Philippines, ASF is a very big concern now, because although we are an archipelagic country surrounded by ocean, but there are so many people coming from China going to the Philippines via different routes. So the government now is working closely with the private sector, particularly our commercial raisers, because preventing the entry of ASF in the Philippines is not the sole responsibility of the government. We should work hand in hand with other sectors, especially the private sectors. Although we are doing the best that we could do in terms of animal quarantine, the quarantine personnel assigned at the ports and seaports and airports are doing their job, even if sometimes they are being sued. Because what they are really watching are those passengers carrying meat, processed meat, meat byproducts. Because importation is controlled by the government. You cannot import meat, especially from ASF-infected countries, without the proper sanitary and phytosanitary permit from the government. What they are after in the airports are those people, especially OFWs, coming from countries affected with ASF, if they are carrying, or if sometimes they hand carry meat products. So if there's a danger there of bringing the virus into the country, so we have to they are confiscating these products and then they are burning it in order not to introduce the virus in the country. And for the last month, we are doing a lot of information dissemination. We have produced infographics, and then in commercial in televisions, we are doing that in order to give advice and to give information to our, not only to our pig raisers, but to the consuming public. When we had bird flu in 2017, the public, the consuming public was very afraid, and they stopped eating broiler, and the broiler industry was very, very down. From the 80 pesos farm gate price, it went down to 25, and still no one buys a broiler from our traders during that time.
Okay, and thank you very much. We come back to the compensation. I want to say that it's very important to have this thing. Okay, so thank you very much. It's very nice discussion, moving from the system and also specific disease. And we now have time to give you audience opportunity to ask questions to our panelists and also some reflection from society as well. So I would propose that we make several rounds of questions if you have. The microphone is available for you. So please ask questions. I can take a few first and we will see who would be the best to respond to the question. I trust that you will have questions. Otherwise I will come back to the... Okay, Dr. Chien, Hanoi University of Public Health and ILRI Vietnam first.
Good afternoon, everyone. Follow up with the discussion from Dr. Chien mentioned that maybe the smallholder is still existing for several years, for my opinion as well. But somehow the trend of the reduction of the smallholder is still going on. So how about another reflection from Philippines, Laos, or another international view of Ani or Dr. Dianta? Because I don't know how the developing countries they deal with those reduction of the smallholder. So I would like to hear more internationally, okay, developed country sharing about this, because we also worry about the soul information. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Chien. Okay, so we take another question and we'll see how it works. I see someone from here. Can you introduce yourself, please, before asking questions?
Thank you to give me the opportunity to ask a question. Actually, my name is Sarkar. I am from Bangladesh Agricultural University. Actually, I would like to ask the panelists. So, especially there are a lot of research activities, but less focus is given on to bring these research findings to the farmers, especially for the smallholders. So, how do you think that how the research extension linkage can be strengthened so that we can really give the benefit to the smallholders?
Okay, thank you very much. Research into policy, research into practice, the concern from our colleague from Bangladesh. Ask a question, please. Don't be shy. Please ask questions. Okay, so neighbor. Our colleague from Bhutan.
My name is Vijay Monga from Bhutan. I think to sustain the smallholder pig production, I think one of the challenges is competition with the big commercial farms. For instance, how do you cope up with that? For instance, because maybe the smallholder farmers would like to sell in a little bit higher price, and then maybe the competition with the commercial farms with the better products and also with the lower price. I think that way is going to harm the smallholder. So it's a challenge. So what would be the most appropriate to sustain the smallholder pig production?
Okay, so you asked again the question I asked from the beginning of the session, but it's okay. Okay, one more question before I come back to the panel. Dr. Chien from Stella Creek, Cambodia.
Thank you. As you know that in Cambodia now the government tries to promote the smallholder farm, just not based only to keep a small number of animals, number of pigs, but they just try to push them to raise the pig to become the business. But I think that during this promotion, maybe there are many challenges, especially for the market. From this promotion, do you think that how do we solve this challenging?
Can you repeat the question, myself, I didn't get it.
My question is, how do we solve the challenging to promote the pig production in Cambodia? Because I think that during the promotion, we have many challenges, especially its marketing. Yeah, okay. So.
Thank you very much. So we have 4 questions. I would like to come back to the panel. first one about the future of smallholder in different countries from international experience, followed by research policy and challenges from different countries. Who would be the best person? Or I just feel free. Maybe we start first with Jette.
Yeah, very short, because the question was, as I understand, why this development was in the developed world. It was actually, everything was driven by price. The smallholder farmers, and this was the discussion which came up, smallholder farmers couldn't compete on price. And everybody wanted, and it's a commodity. That pork is not a product where you see quality differences as you do with beef, because there's different quality of beef. So it's one quality, one commodity. And that was where the smallholders lost. The interesting thing is that now the consumer wants to come back and say he wants only, and that is Rebecca's presentation on animal welfare. They believe smaller farms have a better animal welfare and use less antibiotics, and therefore now everybody goes to regional or organic products, and the taste of the product is not important. It's just only this philosophical background of this.
Okay, thank you, Jette. Any other panel or any points asked? Vannaphone?
Yes.
Okay, so we come back to you later.
So maybe I respond for the second question: how to bring the research result to the field, because in Laos as well, I think we have the same problem. Yes, after the researcher they did research is good, but the research results still on the table, no good to the field. I think there are many reasons. I think because of the incentive as well, because when they did a good research, but they try to keep continuing in the field, but they ask for the budget or something like that, they have a problem. I think this is a challenge for the government as well, how to support the researcher, how to do a good research and bring to the field, to the farmer level. And the second one, I think, because of the researcher as well, sometimes when they did a research during that time is a popular topic, but after that, yes, something happened and it's not suitable for the field, something I saw from that one. I think support from the government is very important. Yes, because sometimes when they got some support from NGO or from outside, and they did a research, but after they got a result, so they cannot have another fund or another budget to do it next. Yes.
Okay. Government support to research to support smallholder, not only from support from outside. So I got some point.
Just in terms of conveying the results of research, I think we do need to come back to looking at the people that are working with the smallholder farmers on a regular basis, and that varies a little bit from country to country, but it is in many of the countries in Southeast Asia, it is our para-veterinary workforce, and capacity building for them and supporting a business model for them that makes their service to their community effective for them as well as for the farmers, I think is a key way to ensure that research is translated to action on farms. And if we take the antimicrobial usage issue as an example, we have a risk if the para-veterinarian's business model is that they don't charge for a service, but they charge for a product that they sell, and one of the products that they frequently might sell is an antibiotic. So, yeah, training at that level and looking at how to enhance their status within their communities and the business model for their enterprise is, I think, a key thing for us to look at moving forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Chien, strengthening the parliament services.
Yes, in the Philippines, if ever there are new technologies to be disseminated to the farmers, we usually channel it to the Office of the Provincial Veterinarian, because under the provincial veterinarians, there would be agricultural extension workers who are working with the farmers. to set up maybe a meeting or a seminar to present this new technology for possible adoption or possible presentation to the farmers in the field.
So it looks like that you work closer to the extension system. I don't know if it is the same system as we have here in Vietnam, so to bring things to the farmer.
Yes, we have a strong ties with our counterparts in the local, because we call them local because we are from the national. We have the provincial, at the provincial level, we have the provincial veterinary offices, and then at the municipal level, if ever they have the municipal veterinary offices or the municipal agricultural offices. This is the way how we communicate whether new technologies, new policies, or new programs for the Department of Agriculture.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Any other point to respond to the first round of questions from you? Any of you? Okay, good. Time is still okay. I would like to take a second round, and I would probably I would close the panel after the second round of questions. So it's really unique and last chance for you to ask questions or reflect on anything that you want to present. So 2 questions. We start first with our colleague from the.
Hi, I'm wondering whether the panel thinks if the smallholder pig production chain will be impacted by climate change, and if so, how can actors adapt to climate change? Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself, please?
I'm Stephen, evaluation consultant from ILRI.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. A second question from there.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan from the Philippines. My concern is with regards to smallholder pig production. I was interested to know the perspective of their perspective with regards to encouraging the youth to engage into pig farming as a sustainable way to smallholder pig production, because as we all know, youth nowadays is more interested in having careers towards information technology, something like that. So can you give some comments or some insights?
Okay, thank you. Second question. Now, who's next one? I saw some. Okay, come back to Bangladesh.
Thank you to give me the chance again. Actually, this is not question, it's comments. Actually, not only for pig farming, for all kind of livestock. At recent time in our country, we are trying to work for One Health approach, like livestock, then human being, and at the same time the environmental health. So, is there any special initiatives on behalf of ILRI to promote One Health approach?
Okay, some position will be to promote One Health approach. Okay, so please.
This on the biosecurity. I think we talked a lot about the importance of biosecurity. Now when it comes to the backyard farms, given the resources and given the facilities that a farmer has, now how do we go about developing the strategy to improve the biosecurity? I mean, yes, it's very important. We can create awareness, we can talk with the farmers, but with the facilities that they have at the backyard level, how can we improve the biosecurity at the backyard level?
Okay, thank you. Biosecurity, that's a very, very small on the level. I will take the last one because time is up very soon. Do you have any last question? Okay, so 4 questions. I think there is the question from Bangladesh. One Health approach promotion. What can ILRI do to promote it or have people from Bangladesh? I think that is, did I get right? The question on One Health and ILRI. He's thinking. Okay, I think that the question is about how ILRI can support One Health and promote One Health.
Yeah, actually, ILRI is a research organization. So what we can do, we can deliver the evidence and the arguments for promoting One Health. But then it's similar like the question before, how is research really scaled up and used by small-scale farmers? It's a real issue for us, and we have a own group now where we impacted scale called and working with the partners to make sure that this happens. And part of this is also the One Health initiative we have, where we try to communicate the right messages, but the multiplicator is somebody else. That's the issue we have.
Okay, thank you.
If I just, because the climate is also most likely,
oh please,
which goes to ILRI. The one thing is monogastria, fortunately, are not as bad as the ruminants, in terms of greenhouse gas emission, particularly with the very aggressive methane emission. That's something which is not an issue today. It's all focused on the ruminants, and we do a lot of work, and it's interesting. If you look. Cattle in Kenya produce much less greenhouse gas over the year because of the feeding system, because of getting feeding under the metabolizing level. But if you then say per product, so per liter milk, an example, it's sometimes 60 times higher than we have it, if you go to Australia or the other countries. So there's the issue is currently all on ruminants and not so much on the monogastria. They play a very unimportant role currently. So.
Okay, thank you. We have also asked a question about how to improve or support smallholder to have this biosecurity measure where you have very poor facilities in farm. Can someone address this among you?
In backyard grazing, we can initially introduce simple biosecurity by not allowing other animals and other visitors openly or just entering your farm is just one form of simple biosecurity. Plus the fact, maybe if the small farm or the backyard grazers are near each other, they could adopt one biosecurity in the area. If there are traders coming in, they should institute one common biosecurity that is okay for all of them. Maybe that's a good idea for backyard racers. Once they form the association or organization, they come up with a unified biosecurity for all of them. So that every now and then they have visitors, they have traders coming in, they would follow the biosecurity set up by the association.
Thank you. Any other response from you?
Just how to develop improve the biosecurity. I think for my idea, we should start from or demonstrate from the local level first. If they understand, okay, we can improve or we can develop over there. Like okay, start from maybe from the wet. And this is from my point of view. Yes, so start from the veterinarian. When they're working on the field, maybe they can demonstrate and can show to the farmer at the local level first, and after that they can extend to other area. This is my personal idea. But for how to the question from Jaiti, how to promote a stakeholder, in Laos as well. Now we try to do like that as well, because the government try to produce a clean production and sell, and I think it's not easy, because when we're talking about is in the line of the value chain. When we talk, how can we increase the price of the production? It's not only agriculture section. It's concerned to other section as well. So we should work together, work closely together. I think is the way how to improve the stakeholder production as well.
Okay, thank you, Vannaphone. I see that is the third or fourth time he come back to working together and collaboration. Thank you very much. So with it, I look at the time, but we have exactly 1 minute to close this panel. I just want to. After this workshop, we will write a report and frame and Tamsin want to write a policy brief or whatever the brief to give some recommendation. If you have one word from the perspective to do, to say how to achieve this smallholder pig production, health and pork safety, please tell me one word, and when we finish this one word, and only one or not two or three, and we close the panel, and afterwards we will close the day. May we start with Chien, because you have a microphone in your hand.
One word is incentives.
Thank you, Dieter. Incentive.
For me, it's training.
Training.
Public-private partnerships.
PPP. Thank you, Chenan.
Education.
Location.
Education.
Education. Also, education. Important.
It's cooperation.
Cooperation. Okay. Thank you very much. So I would like to thank our panelists for this interesting discussion, and I thank you very much for the participation. Thank you very much.